Hello everyone, Manithral here, and this is going to be a bit different. I mentioned I was going to start doing the vlog videos. Well, blog videos about the upcoming updates or updates that have currently happened. Uh, Reason why I say currently happened, because sometimes the videos will be made after the blogs get, well, they'll always be released after the blogs get made, but sometimes the videos will be a little bit delayed in scale of when things get released because I'm not able to make them Friday or Saturday. I'd be making them on Sunday. So, but first, and the first introductory to this is I want to do the whole thing about the price change that has actually recently happened with RuneScape. Because I know this is something that is not entirely, well, it's not a fan favorite in any regard. So I do understand that. I'm not entirely a big fan of it either. However, I want to remind people that, and this is something that I had to keep kind of reminding myself whenever looking at these things, is remind yourself of the direction that they have been taking RuneScape so far this year. So far, we've actually been benefiting kind of greatly. Even though sometimes it doesn't feel that way or look that way, it ends up being that way. So, for example, the combat thing, it's like I know myself, and there's probably quite a few other people who were probably a little bit nervous about the whole ordeal that was going to be happening with combat, especially when they said about the touch ups, because there is certain abilities that we all probably enjoy to a certain degree. And to have that all change, it's just like, okay, well, how is it changing? Is it going to be changing for the better, et cetera, et cetera? And they mentioned, for example, Dailyscape 2 is a thing. And it's just like, well, is this going to make it better or is it going to make it worse? And at first, I was just like, okay, I read the updates. I was, as I was making these videos for you guys, and I was just like, this doesn't seem all that great. For example, I was a little bit, not thrilled about the whole update to the Wicked Hood, for example. And it's just like, I really kind of like my Wicked Hood the way it was. I wish we could kind of keep it that way. But it's just like, after you think about it, it's just like, okay, well, what does this really do? This basically made Pure Essence more valuable, and it made runes more valuable, as did the whole thing with the new version of combat. Because now, as you can see here, my guy is using runes at a much accelerated rate versus what he used to. And yes, that can bite. It's also kind of good. Because now people who do enjoy, let's say, rune crafting, you now have a reason to rune craft. And it's just like, well, I know I preface this with the whole thing of talking about combat, and I assure you I am getting there. I just wanted to bring up these other updates as a reminder as to other things that have changed that we, or just maybe me, thought was going to end up being bad, but ended up turning out really, really good. The same things with the auras. I'm very nervous about the whole thing with the auras, especially because I really was hoping to soon get the vampirism aura and start doing bossing. But now it's going to be related to a spell. And I will have to, we will all have to collectively have it so our spells keep getting recast on us while we're doing these things. It means we're going to have to take part in bringing something with us so we can keep casting these spells, etc., etc. Which, if things are going to work the way they have been working, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Because it's going to make us have to use more runes. Well, not runes. Sorry, I was looking at my runes there. But it's gonna end up benefiting skillers some. It's gonna benefit everything. And now, when we talk about the price increase, so we have the player avatar refresh coming here pretty soon. Customer service is being worked on a continuous basis, and now I don't know what this necessarily ties to, but I did see something about easier swapping it with your account from character to character. Now, I don't know if that means necessarily what I'm hoping it means, which is that we will be able to have multiple characters per account, which ultimately is something that would end up making people very, very happy. And correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but I think that's actually kind of everybody's main issue is the fact that we have one character, and once that character, you know, you have one character per account. If you're spending like 150, well, not 150, but like 120, 100, around there, per year. Well, yeah, about 150 per year, actually more than that. It's just like, is it really worth it? And, it's going to also impact the cost of bonds eventually if they haven't already, because people are going to want to get a hold of bonds because obviously the price increase make it a lot cheaper if you were to buy bonds. Well, get bonds in game. So it's just like, is this going to be better? And the answer is not a very clear one quite yet. But that's why I started with the preface of talking about all the other updates that have been taking place so far this year. I do think they kind of jumped the gun a little bit. I think they should have waited a little bit longer. So more of these updates were actually out and done so people could feel more confident. But unfortunately, they did not do that. So now, understandably so, a lot of people are nervous and wanting to know what's going to be happening in the future. However, like I said, if you think about it, we do have a lot of cool stuff that's getting released this year. And maybe there's going to be some updates that are going to make it a lot more worthwhile for your account, including maybe they will have multiple characters per account. Personally, I'm not thinking it's actually going to be that, but let's face it, I think everybody would be a little bit happier if that was the case. Because instead then of paying for two different characters, you could have maybe one account, and then that'll drastically reduce your overall bill for the month. But we'll see what happens. So far, though, if you ask me, a lot of things have been getting rebalanced. It's just a little too soon for the rebalance, well, for the membership hike. Because graphic wise, I think the game is soon going to be on par with games like Warcraft, if it isn't already. Because I've seen some of the images from Warcraft, and they don't look that great compared to RuneScape anymore. Especially with the direction that things have been going. Like, if you look at the new areas like Varrock, it looks very, very nice and polished. This area is a bit dated, but this area here is pretty old. Like, none of these creatures have been updated probably since they came out. And that's what's hurting it here. But otherwise, the character remodel here is coming soon. Daily overhaul is coming soon. Haven Height is coming soon. There is a lot of content that is coming soon. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little excited for it. Maybe by the end of the year, I'm going to keep making videos like this along with the blogs. Maybe some of those videos will actually restore some of the nuances. Well, some of the appeal, if you will, for RuneScape, because right now it's just like, yeah, it's frustrating having seen the membership go up. But I do think things are gonna things are going to shape up, and I think a lot of people are going to be happy in the long run. Um, why am I so confident about it? I really have no idea. I just got a weird feeling that things are going to look pretty good pretty quick. And to have like any kind of knee jerk reaction, I think it's a little soon. And I think some people are going to regret canceling their memberships. Maybe not regret it because you can now pick it up freely. Um, it's not like you're going to miss out too much unless you had a lower membership and then you dropped it because, you're no longer grandfathered in at a good price. You're just kind of along for the ride type deal. But I do think it's going to be worth it eventually. Like I said, I just think they kind of got in a little too soon. But I do think there's bigger fish to fry too when it comes to the game than the membership. Because I want to remind everybody too, we're not just getting one roadmap for this year. We're not even getting just two roadmaps for this year. We're actually got three roadmaps for this year. And I don't know if people actually remember that or not, but we have the roadmap for the new content. So that's stuff like Haven Height. We have a roadmap for the fixing of the game, essentially. Road to Restoration, so we have that one, which is in storing the integrity of the game. But then we also had the roadmap for player support. So that's actually taking place alongside all these other things. And now, well, whenever the time comes, it's going to be pretty huge overall. So just a few points. I'm not going to take up too much of your time here with this video. My main point of this is just try to have faith that things will be good. Something tells me the way this year has been going, things will be a lot better than what they seem. And the reason why I say that is because, well, look at all the content that's been getting released so far. So far, other than the price changes, all the content has, well, been a lot better than what we anticipated, or at least what I anticipated it to be. So, I'm rather excited to see what this year actually holds for RuneScape. And I think it's actually going to be one that's pretty good. But that'll do it for this video. Like I said, don't want to keep you very long. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you think it's going to get better, worse, or what do you think for the year? And of course, I'm going to keep making these videos about the blogs that keep popping up. And we can go from there. We can discuss stuff as it comes out. We can discuss our opinions on it. Don't forget to hit up RuneScape's official Discord when it comes time for these updates, because they are taking player feedback. And there has been multiple updates, including the Aura overhaul, which was going to be released before, but they ended up postponing it and re-looking at it because of player feedback. So don't forget to check out their Discord for that reason alone. This way your voice can be heard. But that'll do it for this video, so thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, later guys.